I went to jail for protecting my girlfriend, and what happened after changed everything. I still remember the night that changed my entire life. The night I learned how fragile justice can be, how quickly a hero can be turned into a criminal, and how love can survive even when everything else falls apart. It started about a year ago. My girlfriend Madison and I had been invited to a big summer party hosted by one of our friends. We went every year. Loud music, bonfire in the backyard, groups of people scattered everywhere. The kind of night where you forget the world exists. Madison looked beautiful. She always did, but that night she was glowing. We spent the first couple of hours talking with friends, dancing a little, drinking a little. Eventually, we snuck off into one of the spare rooms, a small closet-turned storage room. We wanted a moment alone, just the two of us. We were laughing, teasing, stealing kisses in the dark. At one point, I excused myself to use the bathroom, maybe a minute or two away. On my way back, I heard a scream. Madison's scream. My heart dropped. I sprinted down the hallway so fast I nearly slipped, crashed into the door, and when I flung it open, I found a guy on top of Madison trying to force himself on her while she pushed and fought him off, terrified. Something snapped inside me. I didn't even think. I lunged. I grabbed the guy by the shoulder and punched him as hard as I could. He fell back, and I kept hitting him. The room was spinning, my blood boiling, Madison sobbing behind me. I only stopped when he went limp. We ran. We wanted to leave before things escalated again. I held Madison the whole ride home while she cried uncontrollably. I spent the night promising her she was safe, that I'd always protect her. It never crossed our minds that I would be treated like the criminal. The next morning, police knocked on my door. I answered, thinking maybe they came to take a statement. Instead, without asking me anything, they handcuffed me. "Sir, you're under arrest for aggravated assault." I felt the room spin. I tried explaining what happened. Madison did too, but the officers wouldn't listen. They had already heard a story, a false one, from the guy's friends, and according to their version, I was the aggressor. They said I was drunk, violent, picked a fight for no reason. They took me away before I could even gather my thoughts. Jail isn't like movies portray it. It's not chaos or constant danger. It's routine. Painfully slow, suffocating routine. Same walls, same meals, same sounds. Days blend together until you forget what sunlight really looks like. Books became my escape, even though most of them had torn pages, missing chapters. My thoughts wandered constantly. What was happening to Madison? Would she wait for me? Would I even be able to find a job after this? For the first couple of weeks, I was terrified she'd leave me. Then came my first visitation day. When I walked into the visitation room and saw Madison sitting there waiting for me, I felt like I could breathe again. She was the first good thing I had seen in weeks. But something about her was different. She talked faster than usual. She didn't look me in the eye. Her hands trembled when she tucked her hair behind her ear. She told me she was overwhelmed, that she was struggling, but didn't want to tell me why. She visited me every week for 7 months. And each time she looked more tired, more burdened, more alone. She never told me everything, not until much later, but I could feel her slipping. Still, she showed up every week, without fail. Her visits kept me alive inside that place. The morning of my release, everything felt unreal. The sun looked brighter than I remembered. The gate swung open, and there she was, Madison, standing beside her car, wearing the same smile that made me fall in love with her years ago. I ran to her and hugged her so tight I lifted her off the ground. She laughed and kissed me. For a moment, the whole world felt right again. On the drive back, my stomach rumbled. I had barely eaten jail food for months, so I asked, half jokingly, "Can we go to your mom's house? You know, real food, your mom's cornbread?" She froze for half a second, then forced a smile. "Why don't we just get fast food?" Fast food over her mom's cooking? Something was off. I asked her again, gently, "Is everything okay?" She sighed. "We need to talk about something." My heart sank instantly at those words. She pulled the car over. Her hands shook on the steering wheel. "My family told me I had to choose between you or them." I stared at her, speechless. "Because of your charge," she whispered. "They think you're violent. They think you attacked that guy because you were drunk."
I felt my stomach twist painfully. "And what did you do?" I asked carefully. She broke. Tears streamed down her face. "I chose you," she cried, "and they cut me off. They said I was throwing my life away for a criminal. They wouldn't let me come home. They said if I stayed with you, I wasn't part of the family anymore." My heart shattered. She had been living alone, struggling to pay bills, dealing with loneliness, all while I was locked away behind bars. "Why didn't you tell me?" I whispered. "Because you were in jail," she said. "You had enough pain. I didn't want to add more." I held her, promising that things would be different now that I was home. She cried into my chest until she had nothing left. A few months later, Madison and I had a quiet game night, just the two of us. We were playing Uno, a game her family used to play every weekend. When I laid down a draw 4 card on her, she didn't get fake mad like usual. Instead, she looked devastated, like a child who had lost something precious. A single tear rolled down her cheek. I dropped the cards immediately. "Baby, what's wrong?" she whispered. "I miss my family. I love you, but I've never gone this long without them. Playing Uno just reminded me." My chest tightened. I asked her if she wanted to reach out to them. She said she wasn't sure if they'd answer, or even if they cared anymore. That night she cried herself to sleep in my arms. I knew I had to do something. The next morning, I called her dad. No answer. Then her mom, who hung up on me immediately. I called again, begging for just 30 seconds. She reluctantly agreed. I explained everything, what Madison had endured, how much she missed them, how she just wanted her family back. Her mother still called me abusive, dangerous, violent. She said she was scared of me. I swallowed the insult. This wasn't about me. "This is for Madison," I said quietly. "She needs her family." Something softened in her voice. She agreed to meet, but only in a public park with witnesses around. I didn't care. I would have met on Mars if it meant helping Madison. Madison was terrified the whole drive there. She stared out the window, trembling. We met her mother at a picnic table. She greeted us both, Madison with tears in her eyes, me with obvious hesitation. We ate lunch in awkward silence until her mother finally asked, "What really happened that night?" I told her the full story, minus the intimate part of why we went into the closet. Madison confirmed everything, her voice shaking. And then Madison broke down completely. She told her mother how much it hurt to be abandoned, how she had struggled to survive financially, how she had missed her family every single day. Her mother started crying too, covering her mouth. "My baby, my poor baby," she whispered. She apologized to both of us. She said she never should have listened to rumors, never should have doubted her daughter. She begged for a second chance. I stayed quiet. I knew it wasn't my decision. Madison leaned against me, sobbing, and said she needed time. But she was willing to try. That was enough. Madison slowly rebuilt her relationship with her family. They invited us to dinner one night. As soon as we walked inside, I smelt her mom's famous cornbread. Her dad pulled out a deck of Uno cards. We laughed, ate, played, like nothing had happened. But Madison still moved carefully around them. I could see the hurt lingering behind her smile. She wasn't the same girl who used to talk about her family with pride and warmth. Trust takes time to rebuild, but she was trying. And I was right beside her, rebuilding our lives together, day by day.